Okay, so I was actually really compelled to write about this topic. Um, and I felt like once I started, couldn't stop. And I think this is a really important topic to talk about, especially with the evolution of social media and relationships nowadays. So, in my opinion, we are all social networking service users in some way or another. We've all used, you know, at some point, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even just these forums online that we use for school. And at some point, we've all said things behind the screen that we would never say in person, whether it's something rude or hateful towards another person, or even if it's been someone saying something to you, like that would catch you off guard with, you know, I've definitely had times where I'm like, wow, they would never say that to me in person. Like, why is it so much easier to say behind a screen than it is in person? I completely agree with the statement that was made that people are becoming more comfortable conversing over social networks than in person. I just think it's more convenient, and like I said, things can be said, whether it's bad or good, that you wouldn't get the chance to in person. I think the fact that evolving technology, I think that's mostly what's to blame. I mean, if we look back at our childhood, like, we didn't really have social media until like middle or high school, and now all these kids have like iPhones and are able to get all these apps and everything. And so, like I said, I think it's just the evolution of times. So with all these new devices, social networks, and access to multiple accounts makes it easier to connect with people around the world, or see someone you're sitting right next to. And I can think on multiple occasions, and I know it's kind of embarrassing, like I've texted the person right next to me, or like someone across the room, or where I easily could have just like leaned over and spoke to them when I needed to. I think there is a fine line of being social over networking and in real life. It is kind of like catfishing, where people are completely different than who they say they are behind the screen. And I partially fall victim being more social on certain networks than in person, and I think that's just my personality. I would consider myself an introvert. I fear public speaking. Talking in class is something I don't do. Like, I just show up and listen and take notes, but like, I'm scared to be wrong, and that kind of goes back to the whole self-esteem thing. And I get major social anxiety in most situations. So for me, it's easier for me to connect with friends and family, or even classmates, using technology. So for this class, for example, I was really excited that we had the option to either attend class or engage over EduCat, because it made me feel like I could express my opinions through my videos and discussions more than I would in class, and I feel more accepted maybe. And it also really gives me a chance to use my voice and my opinion. And I really do think there is a positive relationship with online relationships that are created. Social media has given us the opportunity to meet new people, talk each day to friends and family, even if they're hundreds of miles away. I had a really good friend here at Northern, and she actually moved to a different school, and we're still like best friends, and we're able to keep in contact because of social media. So it's not all bad. There's definitely some benefits. We're able to keep connections, like I said, through social networking. However, just like everything, there's a fine line with balancing socialization in real life and socializing over online modes. And I do also agree that there is a huge concern for self-esteem, especially the younger generations and girls specifically who see perfect photos on Instagram. And I've definitely had times like that where I'm like, how does that person always look good? Or how are they doing all these things? And there's always like a comparison. There's always going to be you comparing your life to somebody else. So that also is something that people should be aware of. So this is a rising concern for me, for the expectations that are put on children at such a young age now, to look a certain way, to act a certain way, to wear certain clothes. And like I said, just like everything, there needs to be a balance.